He got offered 400 euros to play in Finland. We don't post salaries. So when somebody signs a deal in Europe, you don't know how much they make. And that's what you do at the rookie party. Except that you have like 25k bill. I'm gonna talk about the AHL behind the scenes from no other than Pavel Regenda, because he spilled the guts, and maybe he thought that when he says it in Slovak, nobody's gonna know. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna translate and I'm gonna tell you some spice. Because I'm here to bridge European hockey with USA and Canada, and whatever is not translated, I'm gonna do it. Because this podcast was really good. It's also a YouTube video. Pitchy Business, it's called. And this video has over 30,000 views in 1 month. People are really interested. Firstly, they talked about money, right? Like how much you earn. The entry contract is 90k. However, he's got more. He's got like guaranteed 350,000. Right now he signed with San Jose Sharks, obviously Barracuda in the AHL. And he's still waiting for his first NHL game for San Jose because he did play for Anaheim. He also said that he doesn't want to give up his dream playing the NHL, so he decided to refuse all the offers from Europe and Russia, also for political reasons and for the reasons that he doesn't want to be harassed and his family harassed. So he said no to Russia and Europe, and he signed with San Jose Barracuda. I want him to get a shot in the NHL as early as possible, and he's gonna do it. All right, let's talk about money. AHL money. We know, and you should know if you're a fan, that you don't make much in the AHL. It's not like super little, but comparing it to NHL, this is ridiculous. So you have 90k entry-level contract, right? And what Regenda said is that sometimes when you are called to the NHL, and he said he didn't say San Jose, or he wasn't called into San Jose Sharks team, but he was called in for Anaheim. But he didn't say Anaheim. He said some teams, so we don't know. He said some teams, what they do, because he could have heard it from somebody else as well. They call you up, but on paper, you are still in the AHL. If you're traveling with the team, going between places, you're in the AHL. So for that day of traveling or just day off, you're gonna earn your AHL salary. On the game day, they have to put you for the NHL roster, so you're gonna earn your pay. But it's like once the game is over, the next day, if you're traveling again for the next NHL game, you're going back to the AHL on paper, obviously not physically. And then for the next game you earn. So you may be with the team like 4 days or 5 days, but you only get paid for those 2 of the game days, or 3 or whatever. So he said it's a bit unfair to the player because it makes like a huge difference. It makes a huge difference if you get paid for 4 days in the NHL and 2 days for the NHL. And he's been asked like, oh, so, how much do you pay in rent? And it's $4,000 per month. Obviously, San Jose is like, it's not cheap, guys. So it's ridiculous. And you have like over 50% tax. So you may have 90k contract, right? But you need to pay 50% tax, over 50%. Then you have ridiculous prices of rent and also food and all that stuff. So you're not left with that much in the end. And then of course he mentioned the team bank. So what is that? Is every player, it's kind of unofficial. It happens across all the sports. If somebody has a wedding, you pay for the team bank, you pay for the gift, you pay for a birthday present, you pay for a rookie party. If your team wins against your former team, you have to pay $200 into the bank because you want to thank them, right? Because everybody wants to win against your former team. If you score, you have to pay. If you have a hat trick, that's a big one, right? The more successful you are, the more you have to pay because obviously the more you get paid. It makes perfect sense, right? So then you have a team bank, obviously, and you go for the rookie party. So he mentioned rookie party, and what's happening at the rookie party is essentially, he didn't go into that much details, but he said that their last one was $25,000 for that night. If you have, for example, 10 rookies, each rookie pays $1,000. So you have $10,000 from their pocket, and then the rest goes from the team bank. So you can imagine how much money in the team bank actually is. So being in the AHL is expensive also because of the team bank. It's ridiculous, like how much money. Like you can just draw 15k from the team bank for one night. It's ridiculous. He said in the NHL, you go for dinner and everybody takes out their credit card, you mix it and then you draw one and that guy is gonna pay the whole bill, which is so unfair if you have like the lowest salary and then you paid for Sidney Crosby or whatever, like, or Bedard, whatever. But yeah, that's the game. That's the name of the game. So what actually happens at rookie party, he just was like, oh, you get points. So you get points for how many shots can you drink. You get points if you get somebody's number. You get points if you drink out of the shoe. I was like, okay. And that's when he stopped because he said it's a usual kind of college vibe party. So you come up with like the crazy stuff and that's what you do at the rookie party. Except that you have like 25K bill. So I'm gonna lead back to the beginning because he decided to stay and not for the money, because he also said like, oh, everybody thinks, maybe in Europe, you know, everybody thinks we have so much money because we play in the North America, right? And it couldn't be further from the truth. And he said, like, we're not doing this for the money because there's not much money left, like at the end of the month, really. Of course, he doesn't say he's poor or whatever, but it's not like big. He's got a better contract now, not the entry level, but still. Some players, of course, leave for Europe because they're gonna earn more. And here's why. Because if you say, okay, so 90K is entry-level contract. If you play in California, as I mentioned, 50% taxes, even maybe a bit more. Let's say you have 45K left after taxes. You have to pay your agent, your rent, your health insurance, and everything else. Potentially health insurance, I'm not sure if it's covered by the team. But if you compare it to Europe, so like so many players are leaving for Europe because, for example, in Switzerland, taxes top out around 22, especially in Zug, 22%. Teams often cover rent and health insurance. If you go to Sweden, Finland, Slovakia, Czechia, you get a car and you get paid for accommodation as well. So you don't have to pay the rent. Cost of living is lower, and you're getting paid in euros, which often holds better value than American dollar, of course. So for example, players like Tomáš Tatar or Dominik Kubalik, you know, go into Zug, which is like the lowest taxes in the whole Switzerland and maybe Europe. They don't have to pay for accommodation. They don't have to pay for a car. I mean, that's a pretty good deal. Maybe even sweeter than in the NHL. I mean, I don't know exactly because we don't post salaries. So when somebody signs a deal in Europe, you don't know how much they make. You can only, you know, find out somehow, but you don't have like official information. What was interesting, so as a bonus, I'm gonna tell you what he said about playing in Finland for 400 euros a month. It was during the COVID and obviously everything was shut down, and maybe it was between the lockdowns or whatever, I'm not sure. He didn't mention that. He just said that he got offered 400 euros to play in Finland. 400 euros. And he said, that's literally when I wanted to quit hockey, because I thought, okay, so I'm gonna play in Finland and then after my training and hockey game, I need to go to work because nobody can live off 400 euros a month being a hockey player. Soon enough, you know, in 2022 at the Olympics, he shined. He was about to go to Czech top league and then he got signed by Anaheim Ducks. Done. And nobody believes me. Nobody believes me on the internet, on my TikTok, when I said that he got offered 400 euros in Finland. I don't know which league. He didn't say the details, but he said, my agent called me and said, you can play for 400 euros in Finland. And I was like, no, thank you. And everybody on TikTok was like, no, there's no way, you know, we don't pay our players that little. Like, oh, I don't know which league. I don't know. But that was the only team that actually wanted him. So, of course, it probably wasn't freaking Helsinki. You know, if you have any more information about the AHL, behind the scenes, maybe from your friends, comment. I want to know everything. And I'm pretty sure all the other viewers do as well. Check out the links in the description and subscribe. I'll see you next time.